Welcome to Shooting the Shit with Rhonda and T. Tonight we are reviewing new show, y'all. Love and
New
Huntsville,
show.
Detroit. And first episode out, season 1, episode 1. I was kind of feeling Detroit. I ain't even gonna lie. You know, it's hard when it's a new show and you got to get used to new people. But yeah, they had a good first show, and I'm interested to see some more. So
good first show.
We got 3 couples. First couple they introduced us to was Christina and Brandon. They've been married for 11 years. Brandon found her on Twitter. He liked her avatar, and he thought her avatar was cute. He had seen her little bitty booty, and he reached out to her.
Little booty. She did have
little booty. It was a little booty, child.
Little booties matter. Shit. She showed y'all that. That little booty got that man. For sure. He reached out. Shout out for the little booties. Say what now? Shout out for the little booties. You shouting out real loud, little booty. Yeah, they followed each other on Twitter. Next thing you know, within 6 months' time, they was married. Why? Why do people do that? He said she moved there 4 days before the wedding. So, I mean, they're 11 years in, but clearly they still trying to figure this thing out. I wonder where she moved from. I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, why do people do that? 6 months? That's
scary. And y'all clearly were not in the same
You
time.
had to relocate. Yeah.
Right. Long distance, 6 months. Scary.
Well, Brandon has an artist development company, big old red flag. So, you know, he's a music person.
Girl, I can't stand it. Gray hair and artist development and
with a top
studios.
Man bun. I will say though, that's what's missing with artists these days. There is no artist development. They don't do that no more. TikTok and then they're stars. So shout out to Brandon for at least trying to get these artists back to where and that's a Detroit thing. That's true to, you know, the whole Motown culture. So yeah, that's what he does. She's a fashion designer and a social media influencer and an image consultant, which explains why she didn't have no problems relocating, because all of those things that she does, she could do from anywhere. I looked at her social media. I mean, you know, she's doing what the other girls is doing as an influencer. I don't know. She's only got 27,000 followers. And although that's a lot of followers for influencer, they usually be, you know, a little more than that. But she will definitely grow after this show. And I mean, she's almost 40. So that's not a negative thing. That's just that usually the influencers are really young. Yeah, I went and when you click on her thing, she has they have 2 little girls, Britton and Bailey, I think they said, and super cute. And they have a website. I sent it to Diamond actually for little girls' clothing. Now,
cute name too, Britton and Bailey.
Oh my God, the clothes are so cute on her website. I'm gonna have to look so I can purchase something for our baby, because the website is really, really like really cute. If she ain't doing anything, she got something with them kids. Russell and Colby, they're super cute. They've been married 3 years. Colby is also an influencer. She focuses
sometimes her eyebrows look too big.
Colby?
Yeah, like some scenes it look all right, and some scenes they are extremely big.
She's one of those girls that probably looks way cuter when she just wash her face. Yeah, and I think she got probably already thick eyebrows, so she don't really need to do all add eyebrows. Yeah, but she's cute. So they're a pretty couple.
Everybody out here. I mean, the girls.
They're all attractive couples. I will say that.
That one though, he ain't that attractive, but the other couples.
Who? Which one? Brandon?
What's that last one? The one we ain't
Anthony.
Talking. Yeah, he ain't that.
He's all right. He's all right. I feel like we'll get to that. Yeah. So Colby is also an influencer. She does fashion, home, family. I didn't look at her numbers because I feel like the other girl, like she's a fashion designer, so it's a real business. And I feel like this girl's just she's younger and doing, whatever, influencing on the internet. It's a job, I suppose. Russell runs a nonprofit. He focuses on literacy and sports. And so there you have it. Not a whole lot to say on them. They have an 18-month-old who's absolutely adorable. You're right. The couples are cute. The kids are cute. It's a nice looking situation going over there.
It is. It is.
You got Dr. LaToya Thompson and Anthony Thompson.
Yeah, she was cute.
LaToya is a sports physical therapist, and her and her husband own Opulence Wine. I want to check out their wine brand. I'm always into I'm a wine drinker, and
at least this one is close enough that I can pick it up because that other stuff they don't ship to Michigan.
They're probably in the store. I haven't done my research yet, but you probably don't have to get it shipped from anywhere because it seems like
that's illegal here.
Both of them, is it? You can't ship
you can't ship to Michigan. You can't ship liquor to Michigan.
You can't hear.
Yeah.
These two out of everybody, like he works for Live Nation. And he's marketing production. So these two, like as far as their careers are concerned, seem like they're very much stable and successful in their career. So, I mean, they all do, but this, like Live Nation, that's kind of a big deal. They meet up for a cookout for Father's Day. The food was on point.
It looked good.
Food
I was wondering, like, what little park they at?
I don't know. That's funny because you're gonna be looking for familiar things now with this. They have 3 children. They met at Michigan State, Anthony and Dr. LaToya. They met at Michigan State. I know you were going to be, in your feelings about that. And they've been married for 14 years. So you got these two have been married for 14 years. The first couple, Christina and Brandon, 11 years. And then Russell and Colby would be the newlyweds at 3 years. Brandon and Anthony have known each other for 20 years. And see, I was getting ready to say, this is the thing that be missing in these other shows. These people know each other for real. I think that makes a difference. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you putting each other together and say, hey, go have lunch with these strangers and call each other friends. It don't work the same
Love
way.
and Marriage DC.
Right. Well, and I like all these couples individually better than Love and Marriage DC. Like everything seems like a real thing, not like homegirl over here writing a book on whatever the hell she was writing a book on. Like even being an influencer, it's a real thing these days. Like that's what the girls are doing. So if she's young enough to have a following, if you could be successful at being an influencer, then more power to you on that one. I wish I had these things when I was that age. I might have taken a different path. Brandon and Anthony, they both have music in common, with one being a music development person and the other one, working for Live Nation and the things like his. I think his job is more marketing because he does a lot for their wine brand.
Right.
Anthony does. Brandon talks about they sit at the table, chopping it up. And Brandon starts talking about his wife not letting him go to Vegas. So Anthony has this whole what he calls a man movement. And the women were not like feeling the whole man movement thing. And then Christina was like, well, you ain't going. So there's that.
What you think? What you gonna say about that?
Let me just say this. Anthony explained that the man movement is a organization that it's about men having their voice. I feel like they have a voice, but he does a better job of explaining down the line. What do I think about that? I never am I gonna be somewhere with my man and in front of a group of people tell him about what he ain't gonna do.
I mean, it ain't a permission thing. It's a conversation. He's like, is you telling me because at the end of the day, shit, we still got these damn kids. Who taking them? What's the arrangements? That's what I'm more thinking about. What is the arrangements?
The
Are you
arrangements are probably
taking
what
them?
they always are, because when men go out of town, they just go out of town, and when women go out of town, they got to figure out who gonna take care of the babies while.
Yeah, but I
you're
don't know
gone.
what their arrangements is in their household. You know
But
what
you
I'm
do
saying?
know, and I'm gonna tell you why in a little bit.
Okay.
Christina is being very kind of evasive and vocal at the same time about her issues and the way she expresses things, because I feel like everybody else at the table was a little bit confused. They was like, is you telling him just what you said? Are you saying, nah, he can't go? Is he asking permission? How is it going? Because the other wives are pretty much like, I mean, for them, it didn't seem like a big deal. They have like regular questions. Like you said, what is the plan? When are you going?
Right.
How are we going? But it seems as though Christina has far more questions than the average person, I'm guessing. And she has her reasons. They start talking about, are these husbands asking for permission? And nobody seems to be uncomfortable with it, like I said, except for Christina. Brandon said he is not being trusted or supported. And Christina said he's done some things in the past, and they keep using the word history.
Right.
So, okay, now we're opening up a little bit, and we know that Brandon's little shady ass has some history, and that's why she's asking so many questions.
And then here's the other thing. Little homeboy, what's the name of the group? Him, man's whatever group.
The man, Anthony.
Anthony, stay out of it. Stay out of it. When they having a conversation, you stay out of that.
I feel like it's because that they have been friends for 20 years. He feels like he
do feel like it, but he be overstepping.
Because the other guy is kind of like feeling it out, like him and his wife tend to look at each other like, what's that all about? I don't know. They have an unspoken communication. Isn't it funny how the people that so far what I'm seeing, the people that have been married the least amount of time seem to have better communication in the way that they, handle each other. But we'll find out a little bit more. Kobe and Christina have a play date. Cute. They have a lot in common. They're both moms. They're both influencers. They're both PKs. That's interesting. Christina says she's 10 years older than Colby, and she sees herself as a mentor. I mean, she's saying that. I don't know that Colby thinks that Christina is her mentor. But she doesn't look 10 years older than this girl. She looks really good. And them braces don't help her look no older. She definitely looks like, a baby. Christina says she wants her husband to be home more. Okay, and that's why I said that. He already ain't home, so that's not the issue. It's the history that has her. It has her, feeling some type of way. Not that he's gonna be gone in Vegas and who's gonna babysit, because I feel like that's what she does all the time. And their kids are pretty little. They're not like big girls. They're still young, under 5. It seems like, or 5 and under at least. They talk about being caught in mommy wife mode. I feel like, yeah.
They're young. Well, not really. They're in their 30s. They're newly moms though, so they got to figure that out.
Right, and then I feel like the whole wife thing. Well, I've never been anybody's wife, so I'm just gonna go based on. But I mean, I've been in long relationships. I think as women, you kind of fall into this traditional behavior because the way to a man's heart is through his stomach and all that bullshit that they pump into you, and then you start doing shit to take care of this person, and then you have kids, and now you're doing stuff to take care of these little people, and then you find that all you're doing is taking care of people, and you ain't doing what it is you was doing when you was just.
I think we have these thoughts in our heads of what you think it's gonna be like, and then it don't turn out like that, and then you're stuck in a rut.
Child, have you been watching Sidebar, Martha's Vineyard?
I said I wanted to watch that.
Go ahead and binge it, because this whole
wife
thing,
I seen something.
Girl,
I was like, I need to,
you need to watch that one. And there are only one married couple, so it's a bunch of single people. But this nigga Silas,
I'm gonna binge it.
Get on that one, yeah.
But
I think that's the easy thing to do. It's the easy thing to do. I think all women do it, especially when you start having children, because I feel like once we have kids, you almost fall into more of a role of taking care of everything. And I think we've all talked about how, as wives and mothers, you walk around a house doing everything for everyone, and then you get to your limit, and then you snap. And everybody's looking at you like, what the hell is wrong with you? Because it's the stuff you've been doing all along, but all of a sudden it's a glass on the counter and you lose your damn mind because it's just that last thing that you didn't want to do. And so, Christina's only turning 40. So she's going through probably that whole thought process of, now I'm 40 and what am I going to be doing? And then this nigga's over here in the studio focusing on what he's focusing on, and she's at home being wife and mom. So yeah, I get that. It just felt like so much of this show was actually about marriage, like the way it's supposed to be presented.
Oh, look at there. Okay.
Yeah, because I feel like I got some real shit right out the gate. Like all of it came across like, okay, yeah, I can get that. So Brandon's in the studio with this young artist that he has definitely not discussed this with his wife yet. Why not though, Brandon?
That's what I'm waiting on right there. Because why is it a secret? I mean, I know the whole thing or whatever because we figured out what happened in the past, but like
you ain't making it better though. Like
you know what I'm saying? And then I'm looking at herself in the mirror and turning around, looking at her butt, and I'm just like.
And she's young, and we know how that dynamic can be with the older man, younger woman. What's up, Bill Clinton? I'm just saying, sometimes
don't nobody else work at the studio?
Nobody's there. They're on this vibe in this zone that he was into. And so she calls him, she FaceTimes him. He has this stank ass attitude, like straight out the gate. What is you mad about? How come you couldn't just be like, hey, I'm in a session right now. I don't know. Maybe I'll be home. Like, give her something. It'll be a couple more hours.
The attitude, that's telltale.
What is your attitude about?
That's telltale.
And then her, like, immediately, she's different to me, child. I would, because she was like, well, what happened? What is wrong? Like, I can't imagine my reaction. My reaction would have been very different.
I mean,
I'm not saying it would have been better, child. I'm working on me, but I'm just saying I just couldn't see myself.
I don't like the fuck wrong with you. What you was wrong?
Right. I'm calling to find out when you're coming home. What is happening? What is your attitude?
If it was like that, then my mind would have got to thinking, and then I probably would have showed up at the.
Would have went down to that studio. I knew we was related because I would have had to hang up. I would have had to hang up, go down to that studio, and see what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
That's what I would have had to have done. Up here. Isn't it funny how they show up when you start talking about stuff?
Yeah.
Stuff. I'm recording. Thank you. So then Brandon says, oh, this irritated me so bad. He said, when men work, they have to leave the house 40 to 60 hours a week. That's what he said. Don't women work?
That's about the same amount of time that I think that women do.
Then he said he might adjust his schedule if he felt more appreciated, catered to, and loved.
Are you doing that back?
She just called you. She just called you when you acted a whole ass. What is it that you
do? So is that gonna make me, when you come home, gonna want to love on you and appreciate you, or I got attitude now because I called you and you got attitude?
Or I'm gonna walk in the studio. I'm gonna walk in the studio and I'm gonna see this and
and I'm
gonna be like, now what is you working on?
You're right.
Okay, Mr. I have a history. So Anthony and Dr. Latoya, I'm gonna call her Dr. Latoya. Anthony and Dr. Latoya, they meet up at like this sports gym where their son is practicing, it's a whole dad kid moment, and she shows up and they just start discussing, some things that had gone on with them. He's actually helping her build her wine business. That's when we find out he's she says her wine business. It feels more like their wine business. I feel like he does a lot. I feel like she be doctoring and he's really handling, the part of the business marketing that makes it work. That's a big deal though. Yeah. Because everybody got a wine. So, right. And based on his job, I feel like he has a lot of access to things that the average person, hey Martell, don't have access to. So they probably have distribution and that kind of thing. Those are benefits of working for companies like Live Nation. He talks about, he mentions to her that he needs to go back to Atlanta. So apparently during COVID, he went to Atlanta and he had an opportunity to work with Disney and Marvel. That's also a very huge thing. But because it was COVID during, quarantine and all of that, she's working in the hospital and they have small children. So he had to come back. And I get it. I get both sides, actually. I get how if you have an opportunity to work for Disney and Marvel, you're definitely going to go for that. But I also see how the people that was working in the hospital, it just ain't no.
And it was scary. And you coming home to your kids hoping that you don't spread nothing to your family.
Right. So I get exactly. And I feel like, it's the first episode and they glazed over a lot of things a little bit, but they gave us enough. But I feel like that was a very contentious part of their marriage where they both said, had he not come home, they might not even still be married. So, but he's bringing it up again, and there's no Dr. Latoya. There's no more like the demand. The president said we good to go. So I feel like if he still got a chance to go do that, he should probably go see what's up with that. I don't know. We'll see where that goes. Like we know so little right now, but I feel like Brandon is putting a whole lot of energy into her business, and she's not giving him the same support when it comes to what he wants to do. That's kind of what they implied. So Brandon, he done planned an anniversary party for him and Christina over at a lavender farm. That was real cute, Brandon. Invited all the couples over.
Cute, but shit, we inviting the other couples to the anniversary party.
Because he doesn't want to be there by herself with her.
Happy anniversary.
And you just sat up here and, well, we'll get to that. So Russell is impressed. He's like, no, this is nice. Now, I wouldn't have not thought of this. And his wife was like, honey, we know you are not romantic. He was like, I'm romantic. Like, I'll be doing stuff like, the romantic game we play. And, I cook out. That's romantic. And she's like, what romantic game? You mean sex? He was like, yeah, that's romantic. I mean,
they got the little game with the dice. He was like, that's romantic. He don't look like he romantic. He look like he's real, because he's a military person. So he looked like he's real straightforward, He a little.
But they weren't fake about it. She was like, no, baby, that's not, it's okay, honey. You're not romantic. It's, you know. So they're passing out the food. So they have all these little prepackaged steak and potato dinners. Like, it was a nice little setup. And Kobe says, I thought I had salmon. And he said, no, you gonna eat what I eat. And so then everybody was like, oh shoot. So Anthony made some type of joke about men's place. It's a whole lot of man conversation. And Christina said she referred to him as being chauvinistic.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm getting that necessarily.
I get it.
I mean, I guess if his wife wasn't who she is, then maybe, because she doesn't seem like she's the subservient type. So, but
that's what he's preaching to the other guys.
But Russell,
but you might not be getting it at home, but that's what you're trying to preach to them.
Well, that's not what he said he's trying to preach. So Christina says like I said, she referred to him as his man movement as man chauvinist. And he said the movement is not about that. It's about building faith and leading families and influencing young men. And if that's true, that's a good thing. And this is coming from me, because I don't be, into that, but I'm like, these niggas need somebody out here to help them do something, because
if that's
and then when I seen that they called Marceau to come speak at the thing, that just all of that shit just went out the window. Because now you talk about man chauvinist for real. But she's not impressed. And she said she's not impressed. Christina says she is not impressed. So Brandon is start caping for, Anthony start caping for Brandon and talking about how, like, he basically saying that he has this dream that he wants to chase, and that his wife Christina is standing in the way of his dream with her, basically being insecure, and that sometimes based on what he needs to do, as far as networking, he needs to go to the club and do that networking. And Christina's like, he ain't going to no club. How about that? And she's like, he needs to do that. Like, that's part of,
him being in that field, we already know that comes a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Is he making money from that? I'm just saying, are you bringing in money?
I don't think artist development is a thing. I think it's a good thing, but I don't think it's a thing. I think, right, like what I'm understanding, the person that's in the industry that's really a big deal as far as artist development is Tiana Taylor. And she don't get them until they already successful. She's developing artists that already successful that need, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Need help. They start discussing Anthony's opportunity in Atlanta. And he basically said he wants his wife to support him like he supports her. That's why I said I feel like she leans on him to handle that wine business, and he's kind of trying to do his own thing. And we'll, I guess, see how that happens, how that plays out later on. But he, his point was emphasizing, like, he has things he wants to do, and Brandon has things he wants to do, and how important it is for a man to follow their dreams. And I want them to stop saying man, though. Like, I want them to stop saying man as if, it's not a thing for people.
But even if you're following your dreams, it's the whole, let's sit down and have a conversation together and see how that looks.
Once you become a couple, those things have
as a family. Yeah, not you. This is what I want to do, and I'm gonna go off and I'm gonna do this because this is what I want. Sit down with your family and see how that looks, what that looks like, so y'all can tailor it for each other.
I feel like they can do it. They've been married for 14 years. She's a doctor. She's established. He's the one that's trying to
get there.
And I feel like he's successful, but he's not where he, wants to be. And I get it. So, while he's explaining that, and he's letting Christina's like, you're saying it like, I'm insecure. And he was like, you are insecure. That's what she was like. But Brandon has a history. And then all of a sudden, Anthony was like the record scratcher. He was like,
your boy Anthony, you ain't know he had a history?
You ain't know about the history? Which made me feel like good, because usually they be on that whole, like with Martell and them, they be on that whole keeping secrets stuff.
Right.
This is not the case. Anthony was like, wait, what? Like, so he's feeling like, because that's the way Brandon is selling this story to his friend, how he's trying to make moves and his wife is holding him back. That's the story your husband told, because his friend just sat up there and was like, wait a minute, What is we talking about history?
He didn't know about it.
We
right.
just thought that this nigga was out here trying to, chase his dreams, and you was trying to hold him back because you're insecure. But she's insecure because of the history. So while he said that, Brandon is sitting there looking crazy, like he don't know what to say. Both him and his wife skate around what's really going on. They keep saying history, and Anthony is like, what is the history? And then Colby takes a pause to say, so what's going on with the new artist that you're developing? She brought that up out the blue. And then, Brandon got hit with the 1-2 punch because now his wife brought up the history. Colby over here talking about the artist that he has not told his wife about. She said, hey, Russell was the one that told me, that you had a new artist. She did not know that this was not supposed to be something that,
he should have told her that because he ain't tell her not to say it.
He did not tell her don't say nothing. So now Christina's pissed because this is one hell of an anniversary dinner. This is why you don't invite people to your anniversary dinner, because dinner's ruined. Because she starts telling them like, okay, so this nigga Brandon, she was over there in the beginning. She did say something about she's a stylist, but she don't be styling his artists because apparently, something had went down. So this is when we find out that he had, I'm gonna call bullshit on this one. He had an emotional connection.
No, he hit. He hit. That's a lie he told. That's a lie he told, but he hit.
I'm like, no, that's not what happens. That's what women do. We be having an emotional connection. He did not have an emotional connection. He had a connection. It probably went a little something like this.
Yeah. And that shit got emotional as hell.
Man, when I tell you Anthony was sitting there with his mouth hanging wide open, he was looking like, nigga, I'm sitting up here defending you. You never told me about the history and the emotional connection that you have with your artist. So, and aside from that, which I think is the biggest part of the situation, but also when he has an artist, even if it wasn't a female artist, this means you're going to be gone in that studio all the time, not at home, or, not doing anything that you said we was going to be doing. So she starts snapping. And then now Brandon wants to go have a private conversation. Now you want to have a private conversation.
Now you want to have a talk private. Oh.
And that's pretty much where they leave us. So, for a first episode, we got quite a bit of juice. I feel like they gave us a good little tidbit of a lot of things to,
I liked it.
I enjoyed it. I did. Definitely better than DC. So I'm looking forward to the next episode. We see, like, in the preview that there's gonna be some fallout with the newbies and the old heads.
Yeah. We'll see what happened. I like it though. That's a nice
too. I feel like maybe Brandon might be stirring that up a little bit just to get the heat off of him, so get his wife pissed off at somebody else. So he, not in the hot seat. I like the show. I'm not a Brandon fan, but
no,
it probably has something to do with his history. So yeah.
All right. Well, that's
it, y'all. Loving Huntsville, DC. We looking forward to
Loving Huntsville, Loving Mary.
Oh, Loving Mary.
Detroit.
Detroit. Ooh.
Detroit.
So let me rewind. So Loving Mary's Detroit. We feeling that one? We gonna go ahead and ask y'all to drop down in the comments. Let us know what you thought of the first episode. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and we will see you on the next one. Bye, y'all.